Hello, Facebook, family, and friends. Happy New Year as we enter this first day of 2021. I'm coming today with my New Year's Day message, but before I get to the word of inspiration, I need to give you some very personal, serious information. I had a stroke. November 30th, 2020, 11 days before my 42nd birthday, I was sitting over in the office here at the church, and I felt a quick sensation of tingling in my right hand, on my right side, my right leg, and immediately it popped into my mind that I'd had a stroke. I tried to raise my leg up off the ground and I would hold it up, but when I went to put it down, it kind of got closer to the ground and fell with a thud. And the same with my arm. I'd raise my arm out, and as I went to bring it back, it was relieved to get back to my side. And in my mind, I concluded, I knew I'd had a stroke. That was Monday, November 30th, around 8 p.m. The staff had just left about 5 minutes before, and I decided to get in my car and drive home. When I got home that night, I felt a little bit of tingling, and I kept telling myself that maybe I had slept the wrong way on my side, on my arm the night before, and decided to go to bed. But I told myself if I still felt the tingling in the morning, that I would get up and go to the hospital. The next day, Tuesday, December 1st, I woke up, did not feel the tingling sensation as much, but something just quite wasn't right. I got some paper and started to write my name to check my penmanship. I quizzed myself on various dates and events, episodes, trying to quiz my memory. I walked, I jogged from the front to the back of the house, trying to test my mobility, but something just wasn't quite right. I went and my wife was getting ready to go to work, and as she was leaving out the door, I said to her, I think something happened to me last night, and so I'm going to get up and take myself to the emergency room. When I got to the emergency room at Baylor Scott White in Waxahachie, I said to the admitting nurse, I had a stroke. She called the doctors in, and the doctors came. And as they put me in the room and began to check, the ER doctor said, well, what did you do yesterday? What makes you think you had a stroke? And I explained, I said, I have this tingling in my hand that's kind of persistent. This morning it was, he said, well, what did you do in the morning? I said, well, I got up, I went to the gym. Monday through Friday, I do 11 miles, 12 miles on the elliptical, do a little weight lifting. And he said, I think you didn't have a stroke. I think what happened is that there's a nerve that runs in your arm, because you're only talking about two fingers. There's a nerve that runs this way. And I think that you may have just overextended it by riding the elliptical, doing the weightlifting. I think you may have just have done some damage to it. And I said, but no, I think I had a stroke. And he said, I don't think you did. You walked in normally. You said you drove yourself here. You're talking fine. Your mobility is fine. The admitting nurse was saying the same thing. And I finally said, no, it was in my foot as well, briefly last night. And they began to go through the protocols of having me undressed, and they ordered EKG that wasn't irregular in any way. They ordered a CAT scan, couldn't see much, but then they ordered the MRI. And when they ordered the MRI, the doctor told me what I'd already known. He said, Mr. Williams, you've had a stroke. Now, the reason why I had this stroke, according to the doctors, it wasn't an issue of cholesterol or diet or things like that. Those of you who know me know that I've been working so hard over the last few years, losing weight, getting in better shape. In the mornings, I eat a green apple for breakfast. I tend to eat salad with no dressing or anything else for lunch. And then I eat a pretty sensible dinner. But the doctor said, your blood pressure is high. And it's so high that we think that that's what caused it. At one point, when they had me on the machine, I'm still in the ER, and the cuff was taking my blood pressure reading. At one point, it registered 240 over 140. The doctor said, I have to keep you. They asked me if I was on medicine for high blood pressure. I said, yes, my primary care has had me on medicine for about 2.5 years now. He said, what do you take? I said, I take lisinopril. And the white doctor in the emergency room said, well, you know, some information came out, some studies have been done that suggest that lisinopril may not work as well in African Americans as it does in others. And so, you know, I've been sort of transitioning my patients off of lisinopril into some more suitable medication. High blood pressure runs in my family. I mean, severe high blood pressure, heart issues, they run in my family, both sides of my family. I've been talking with my sister about medications that she takes, my mom about medications that she takes. And for the past few years, as I've been going to the doctor, I've been taking notes of my blood pressure, and I've discovered that in my journal, my blood pressure has not gone down significantly on the medicine that I was upon. When I went to my doctor back in September, I'd made a note and I said to her that if my blood pressure was not down by March, that I was going to be back and force her to change my medication. I was upset with myself as I was in the hospital. I was upset because I knew that the medication was not working. And I am demanding of myself, I'm demanding of my employees and staff members, I'm demanding of so many people around me. But I was not demanding with my physician when it came to my health. So I laid in that hospital. I was there from December 1st and I got discharged on December 3rd. And as I laid there, the physical therapist came. We walked all around and she said, you're fine. The occupational therapist came and conducted their studies. They said, you're fine. The speech therapist came and said, you're fine. Everyone was telling me that I was fine. The only issue I had was my blood pressure. But one thing that I knew is that everything in me was not operating the way it had before November 30th. And I laid in that bed and I began to ask God the same question God asked Ezekiel. Can these bones live again? I'm moving my hand, but there's something in it that wasn't quite right. There had to be some small muscle damage at least. Can these bones live again? I'm walking and moving my leg, but it felt like I wasn't controlling it 100%. Can these bones live again? When I was discharged on December 3rd, everyone gave me so many kudos and accolades on my diet, on my determination to lose weight, to get in shape. But I was discharged with a death sentence. Because while they all marveled that nothing was obviously, apparently, and significantly wrong with me in terms of my functioning, the doctor kept repeating to me, and the nurses kept repeating to me, when a person has a stroke, the next 30 days are the most important days because second strokes often occur 30 days after there's a first stroke. And because the first one is so mild, the second one may be much more severe. It's one thing to know that you're going to die. All of us will leave this world through death. But it's something else to hear somebody say to you that in 30 days, you may have an episode, an event that takes you out of this world. So when they discharged me, I took it easy, right? For about 2 days, 2 weeks rather. I was in the pulpit, but not preaching. That was my version, my way of taking it easy. Haven't been spending as much time in the office. That was my way of taking it easy. Going to follow-up appointment after follow-up appointment, taking it easy. But I kept asking God that question. Can these bones live again? I started going back to the gym, initially just to use physical therapy type equipment. But eventually I got back to my regular workout of doing 9 to 12 miles Monday through Friday, back to my regular workout, still incorporating weights. And each time I go, each week, each day, really, I felt myself, I felt my body, I felt my limbs getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. That's the information. Here then is the inspiration. Where I was on November 30th, December 1st, December 2nd, December 3rd, is where so many of you have also been. You have experienced a stroke in your life. Maybe it wasn't massive, maybe it wasn't big, maybe it did not completely paralyze you, but there is something inside of you that you recognize is not right. Because you walk and talk and move normally, other people do not see the deadness of your deferred dreams or the stifled potential or the unventured aspirations and life's letdowns that you have endured. But this year, we've gone through pandemic, protests, unrest, personal pain, personal problems. In some ways, all of us have experienced a stroke. And as we come into 2021, we're asking God the same question God asked Ezekiel and the same question I asked God in that hospital room. Can these bones live again? You know, when I was at the hospital, they gave me this gown to wear. I took it with me as a reminder, as a memento of that experience that I will never forget. They put a wristband on me to identify who I was. And every time I came in, they would ask me my name and date of birth and want to see my wristband to know who I was. And as I laid in that hospital room for those 3 days, asking God, can these bones live again? And wearing this uniform of sickness, I heard God say to me the same thing God said to Ezekiel. Prophesy to the bones and say, hear the word of the Lord. So I made it not just out of the hospital, but I'm here on January the 1st, 2021. And that means that the 30 days where that second stroke was more than likely to occur, it didn't occur. And I'm still here. And not only am I here, but I'm determined to live again. My friends, many of us have lived under a death sentence. The COVID pandemic has had many of us under a death sentence. The own disappointments and defeats that we have faced in life have had many of us under a death sentence. But I say to you today, on January 1st, 2021, that it's time to live again. Maybe you walked around wearing some garments that reminded you of your sickness, that have reminded you of the pain that you've gone through. It's time to take them off, my friends. And it's time to live again. Maybe you've had a label put on you, a label of your sickness, a label of your failures, a label of your shortcomings. It's time to cut the labels off because it's time to live again. When I was in the hospital, they gave me a bag to keep all my belongings in. And I took my belongings and I put them in this bag. But today I'm taking this same bag and the stuff that belonged to the hospital, I'm putting it in the bag. because I don't need this stuff anymore. I am determined to live again. When the physical therapist came, one of the things I said to her, I said, I'm feeling just a little bit of weakness or out of controlness in my knee. And she gave me a band, and she gave me exercises to use. And she said, put it under your foot and then stretch and then wrap it around your knees and open them and close them and stretch them. And doing those small exercises, it'll give you the strength. She gave me some rubber bands to wrap around my hand. She said, and just open and close to stretch them, and it'll make them stronger. I'm getting rid of the gown, and I'm getting rid of the label. But there's something about this band that's blessed me. It's taught me some things. It's made me stronger. It's made me better. It's brought me back to who I need to be. And I'm saying to you today, as we embark on 2021, it's time to live again. To live again. It's not to live as we lived before, but living again. It means to live authentically, to live fully, and to live unapologetically. It means to live again means we have to explore experiences. We have to seize opportunities. It means that we have to actualize our ambitions. No more procrastinating, no more ruminating. To live again means it's time to act right now. And so then I say to you, my friends, on this first day of 2021, how are you going to live again? For me, living again means rediscovering my love of writing. In a few weeks, a good friend of mine, Valencia Edna, and I are going to publish a book of sermons that we preached earlier in 2020 in response to the riots and the fires and the protests and the unrest that we were witnessing. It's going to be out in a few weeks. Later this year, I hope to publish my own first solo work. That's part of living again. It's going back and doing and rediscovering and reclaiming the things that used to be part of me, but somehow I've allowed them to die. And so, my friends, I'm telling you, it's time to live again. We've survived the stroke of 2020, a pandemic, political theater, public posturing, worldwide protests, personal pains, problems that nobody else may know about. The key word is survived. We have survived. Now it's time to live again.